Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the office. Welcome to the morning grind. It is so good to have you here today. I have been finally up early, was here at the desk. Feels like forever. Here at 5 o'clock in the morning, working on the scripts and the Tale of Rabavania script and getting stuff done. So I feel good about that. But then I also went out and went grocery shopping this morning. So I got groceries in the house. So there's actually food here. So that's wonderful. So that's been going on. We're going to be taking a look at this box set right here. This is an old AD&D box from Planescape. This is the Planes of Law box. So I didn't know this is not... I guess there is some other just box that has to do with the Planescape setting in general, I suppose. But I found this one cheap. It's it's actually very kind of banged up and stuff. But so this is the Planes of Law box set, and once again, I haven't even opened it up because I wanted to do it here with you guys, because this does say actually over here it says campaign expansion. So that's actually pretty cool that a whole box set is a campaign expansion. When I think about the box sets, I think about the campaign settings themselves. And so this is being an expansion. That's nice. Zero Theory says that I got to admit, Planescape is one of the older settings that I know the least about. I don't know a lot about it either. Sable Phoenix is very happy about it, though. Haha, Planescape. Baby, yes. Oh, by the way, okay, so I was looking more into the channel memberships because we got asked about that. And I was trying this morning to alter some things and put up the lower level membership for everybody. And so I was working with that this morning, but it was a little bit more confusing than I would like it to be. And I had forgotten that I also have to submit it for approval to YouTube, the membership levels. And so it's not something that I can just change. Of course, I mean, nothing is easy. Nothing can just be done, right? So I've got to, rather than just go ahead and I was like, well, I'm not going to submit it to them. I'll work with it a bit more this afternoon and then submit it to them. And then maybe we'll get approval and then we'll have that going. So I was on that. So I'm on the case there, but I didn't have that quite ready yet. Let's see who else is here. Stargate Mind says Planescape is so important because a hero must be the master of two worlds. Leave your tiny village and explore the entire multiverse. Also, good work. Oh, I saw that you commented on that. So also, Heath, good work on that old proficiency double bonus video. Very solid math and very convincing. Thank you. Well, you're very welcome. Yeah, I think that was a very good series of videos that we did on that. Let's see. Draco is here and Andrew. Yep, I would love to be able to return to. I would love to be able to produce things like the second edition box sets. Let's see here. What else do we need to say this morning? I did also get notification that the new Goodnight Sword proof has shipped. So I got notification of that this morning. So I should have that soon. So that's another big thing that I've got to do. I've got to get in here and I've got to work on the Kickstarter. I think we'll just do a Kickstarter page and do the physical copies of Goodnight Sword. We got to get things moving here in some way. So the Goodnight Sword project, I think it'd be a great way to do it, especially with print on demand, so that we don't have to worry about, well, if we don't get, 1,000 people to do offset printing and stuff like that. And then also that way, we're also not worrying about trying to do freight shipping and all of that, trying to do things much easier around here, that faster and easier. So I got to work on that. Hey, Thor. Good morning, Heath and Company. Happy 420. Yes, happy 420 for all those who celebrate. Nathaniel. Good morning, Nathaniel. It is so good to see you. So, all right, let's go over here to the messages. Hey, if you're a channel member, don't forget that you can go over here to the YouTube, to the ravenkeep.net and pick up mugs, and there's a discount code for you in the community section. So anyway, let's go to the messages, and then we'll go over here to look at the planes of law. This month, there are several things going on ravenkeep.net. First, War of Kings is the game of conquest, kingdom building, and strategy that my brother and I developed. It's Catan meets Risk, but there are only 5 boxes of War of Kings remaining, and the game won't be reprinted. Also, Enchantress, the game of wizardly combat, also designed by my brother and me, is on ravenkeep.net, but there are just 6 copies of that game left, and it will also not be reprinted. So if you'd like either of these games for your table, please pick up one from the website now. If you've been enjoying what I'm doing here on the channel, please consider becoming a channel member by clicking that join button. Your support is so important, and this month, we have a special offer for all of the channel members. If you join, you'll get a $7.99 discount on all of the custom mugs from ravenkeep.net, Cultist Coffee, Witch's Brew, or Fish Do Not Drink Tea. Once you've joined the channel, just check the members only post on the YouTube channel's community tab for the discount code. Remember, all orders from the website of $99 or more ship free, but I can only ship to the United States. And thank you for being here with me live on the Morning Grind. And if you're watching on replay, welcome to you as well. It's great to have you here. If you're enjoying the Morning Grind, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It will really help the channel grow, and I would be very thankful. We also have the Ravenkeep Discord server you can join if you would like to be a part of the community. All right, that's what you need to know. Let's get to the main topic. All right, let's breathe and sip and then go through this box right here. Does everybody have their drink with them? Your favorite beverage this morning? So everybody, do it with me here. We're going to be taking a drink, taking 2 breaths, deep inhales, complete exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage. It'll make you feel better this morning. So here we go. Let's go all together. There we go. Now that's the way to start the morning. Oh, Sable Phoenix has Enchantress and also some of the dice trays. I need to put some of the dice trays out for us, and also I'll put together something about that for the morning messages as well. Sable Phoenix says, putting forward yet another plug for the Raven Keep dice trays. They are so nice and high quality. Those are handmade. I handmade them with Megan in the workshop. So they are handmade dice trays. Very high quality. I think the perfect rolling surface. Also, Enchantress has amazing production values. I am sure War of Kings is similar. Oh, there is one other thing to talk about today, or mention, because I was trying to do dinner and a board game by tomorrow, but I'm still trying to figure out the best way to get the cooking done. And I got to do two things. I got to figure out the cooking, and I want to run a test operation over here to make sure that all the technology works. So I don't think I'm going to be able to both do cooking, because I decided that I think the best thing to do is just to pre-record the cooking. So I'm going to have to pre-record the cooking. That way it's not a mess. And also that way I'm not trying to cook right. It's not a mess like here. And also I'm not trying to cook something right before I run in here to shoot the live stream. So I think I need to pre-record the cooking, but I got to find a way to make sure that that's easy. So I'm going to do that. So I got to pre-record that. But then also do a test. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do both of those things before tomorrow night. So maybe then next Friday is when that will start. Because I want to do it well. I want to do it very well. I want the sometimes you just have to start, but at the same time, I want to be sure those two things are done so that the new pilot for Dinner and a Board Game is done really well. And that will be a Hero Quest solo quest. So that's also in the works, but that's the status of that right now. I was also thinking that, a good idea for some of the cooking therefore might be to do like crock pot meals, so that we have an example of a meal to put together in the crock pot. That would allow me to do that earlier in the day. It would be ready in the evening, and would also be a great example of meals that you can cook before your gaming, easy meals to make for your gaming group that's not pizza, because that's part of what Dinner and a Board Game was all about, right? So that would be a good idea. So crock pot meals, put it all together, cook it put it all together in the morning, turn on the crock pot, and then have it ready to go when everybody comes over in the evening or something. So that might be the way to go. Might be perfect. All right, let me go auxiliary camera over here. So here it is, the Planes of Law. And like I said, it surprised me because I thought this was just the Planescape box set, but it's not. It says Planescape Campaign Expansion. So they must have done some, I don't even remember that for Forgotten Realms. I mean, I remember, and I've got it sitting over there, the Forgotten Realms campaign setting, what was inside that box. In fact, we could compare. Well, it's not exactly a fair comparison because this is the campaign expansion and that's the whole campaign. But nonetheless, I don't know. I don't remember them doing more than one box set, like as an expansion for Forgotten Realms. But they clearly did that for Planescape. So this is an expansion to Planescape. I would imagine you don't need the original in order to play. Let's see. It says Planes of Law. Oh, look. Wolfgang Bauer. I didn't know he worked on Planescape. Huh. Okay. So he's the head of Kobold Press. Stargate Mind says both the Planes of Law and Chaos needed additional details. So Wolfgang Bauer worked on this. Rigid, unbending, laws, dominion, eternal, order, and triumphant. Open up this cage, clutter. Open up this cage, cutter, and enter the planes of law. Archon, where armies of evil collide. Arcadia, where law and goodness clash. Baator, where malevolence corrupts the spirit. Mechanus, that's exactly what Sable Phoenix was just talking about, where reason and order reign. And Mount Celestia, where hope is born anew. Inside this box, a Burkle find, BRK''LL, 5 32-page books describing each plane and its inhabitants for the Dungeon Master. Information on the monsters, realms, sites, and dangers of each plane are presented, along with adventure outlines. A Player's Guide to Law, a 32-page full-color introduction to the wonders and hazards of the lawful planes for DM and players alike. This book includes sites not found elsewhere. Monstrous Supplement, a 32-page full-color booklet detailing 32 creatures, including New Beatazu, the mysterious Bladelings, the wondrous Archons, and the Dryads of Mechanus. 5 fully detailed poster-sized maps illustrating the layers of each plane with diagrams of intricate formal hierarchies of the lawful planes. Exhilarate in the rarefied air of Mount Celestia. Explore the dark depths of Baator. Exult in the supreme order of the planes of law. So maybe they did planes of law and planes of chaos then. That way you have both good and evil in both box sets. I guess that makes sense. Sounds like there's both good. I mean, obviously, if you're talking about the advanced Dungeons and Dragons alignment system. So if you're doing advanced, if you're doing law and chaos, you'd have good and evil in both box. Mount Celestia has amazing magic item creation rules. Oh, well, cool. All right, so let's see what's inside. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got 5 poster-sized things. Is anyone still here? Anyone still here? Man, this is weird. You know, it did the exact same thing it did a couple of days ago, like 3 days ago, when all of a sudden my cameras went down and I still was checking because I had internet. So it wasn't me, which ordinarily it would be me because I'm expecting that the internet here is not all that is thankfully it's actually been better, but I'm here in rural Alabama where I could certainly have better internet, but that's twice that it seems like StreamYard's had a problem because my camera's canceled and it threw me out of StreamYard and I could get to other places on the internet, which is why I went to YouTube to put in the comments, but I couldn't get into StreamYard. Okay, let's get back to it. I have to reset everything up here. Okay, so here we are. All right. The planes of law require more paperwork before they'll allow a stream. I guess that's it. Okay, so anyway. All right, I feel wrong-footed, but nonetheless, this is exactly where we were. So anyway, so back to the planes of law. Hopefully that StreamYard has its side figured out. Okay, so let's see here. So the planes of law. So we've got these. We just said we got 5 looks like poster-sized things, and there are a lot of books. I mean, look at this. Different books inside, plus all of this. This is a lot of material. So they give you a separate book on each one. So this is Baator. The Voice of Deception, Barter, the Price of Spirit, Evil Velvet Glove, Looking to Make a Deal, Burke? Baator's the place. It's all here. Money, power, fame, even, or so it said, eternal life. Assad won't notice the price until the bill comes due. Here's the chant. This book is for the dungeon master only. Okay. Archon. Snow falls on the iron. Snow falls on iron, darkening the battlefield. Blood blankets the land. Travel from the battle-scarred cubes of Valis. This font is a little bit difficult to read. The shadowed city of the Bladelings. Visit the mines of the Marcelin and admire the statues, or become one. Here's the chant. Okay, this book is also for the dungeon master only, so that's what we're going to look at them. But Arcadia, Wind Dance in Patterns, the dice, the dictates of paradise, laws of harmony, perfect harmony, perfect order, perfect virtue. How could anyone defy such tenets? Only the evil and misguided resist the call of goodness and law, and it falls to the righteous to show them the error of their ways. Here's the chant. This book is for the dungeon master only. Sable Phoenix says, where did you get this nice set in the first place? Yeah, I did find it on eBay. I don't remember how much it was. I think I search over on eBay for different bargains, and I think this one, I don't remember what I paid for it, but there's only so much that I'll be willing to pay. But this box right here is not in, I mean, as far as you're saying that some of these are practically collector's items, but this box is actually not in very good shape. It's like water damaged and stuff and highly scuffed. And you can even tell that I think some of these books in here are water damaged. So this one has also been sitting in here on my shelf for quite some time. So I don't remember, but it was an eBay one that I found in bad condition. So if you look hard enough, or sometimes things I found, if it's nearly complete, you know, you can get a bargain on stuff. That's how I got a second copy of Hero Quest before it was re-released. I wanted a reserve copy of it, but I found one that was like missing 3 parts or something like that, which I happened to have extras of anyway. So nobody wanted it, and I got another one cheap. Universal Truths. Wait, what is this? This is the Planes of Law. Oh, this is Mechanus. Is this where the Modrons come from? Universal Truths, workings of the multiverse, turnings of the cogs, ultimate law or ultimate domination, Modrons or Modrons. Oh, look, the Modrons are here. So this is Modrons. Modrons or governors. A soul'd think the plane of law itself would hold the only answers, but that ain't the case. Which laws are the right ones? Oh, here's something that's a player's guide. A Player's Guide to Law, Planes of Law. Strict patterns of law twisting through the infinite bindings into one. This is the new information found nowhere else, Burke, so read it. The revelations inside provide the proper mindset for dealing with the intricacies of the planes of law. We might look at that one first. Mount Celestia. So this is the one that's got the good magic item rules in it. Press ever upward, seeking majesty and truth in the trumpet's peak. This mounts paradise to some, the opposite to others. Burn with righteousness or just tremble in fear. The light purifies till there's nothing left but untainted spirit. Dungeon Masters only. I'm going to put the players up first. And then here is a monster supplement. All right, let's put this over here. So Mechanus's dominant races are the Modrons and the Fomorians. Law without liberty is tyranny, Robert says. Okay. I don't know how much of this we'll actually go through. I don't know if this will be a multi-day one or not. I kind of wanted to do a little bit of just an unboxing and see what was inside of it because I didn't know. Let's start with the player's guide, though, because that way we're not delving into too many secrets. The player's guide seems to be a good thing to do first. So, Planes of Law, a player's guide to law. So, according to its contents, we've got Welcome to the Planes of Law, the Code of Law, Magic on the Planes of Law, how to get from there to here, Archon, the Mines of Marcelin, Mesk, Arcadia, the Ghetto, Baator, Mechanus, and Mount Celestia. It doesn't tell us exactly what's in it, but let's just see. Yeah, these pages are kind of stuck together. All right, let's find out what this is all about, because I really don't know. Archon, Arcadia, Baator, Mechanus, Mount Celestia. Some Burks have this notion. What is a Burk? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I thought that was odd. You're right. Fomorians are the giants. I thought that was odd for them to be on the in Mechanus. Formians are ant people. Everyone mixes them up. Yeah, the Fomorians are the giant people from Celtic mythology. But you're right. There's an extra O in there. Forgive me, looking at the comments. So, okay. So, yes, that makes more sense. Okay. Some Burks have this notion that the Planes of Law are stuffy places, full of self-righteous, bombastic alcoves spreading conversion, be it good or evil. Well, forget the stuffy and drop the bombastic. Why? Because the chant's wrong. Second, labeling the natives is a quick way to end up in the dead book. Just because they're lawful doesn't mean that they take insults. Most sods only envision Mechanus when they think of the Planes of Law. True, the clockwork universe is the ultimate place of rigid order, but a Burk's got to realize there are 5 planes practicing righteous tenets, practicing lawful tenets. What's more, 2 of them ain't exactly on the side of goodness and light either. Baator and Archon is it Acheron? Is it supposed to be there's no R in that. So Acheron. That's supposed to be Acheron. Is this saying can't? I feel completely wrong-footed since the stream went out. No, this does say chant over here. Okay, Planescape has its own slang or cant, which is heavily influenced by Cockney slang. Not Cockney rhyming slang, though, thankfully. Burk is like a bumpkin, someone who's average or clueless. A Burk is someone from the prime material plane, like planets such as Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms. Ah, okay. So kind of like being a muggle. Acheron. Sable Phoenix always keeps it straight on the pronunciation. Okay, so Acheron. Baator and Acheron are 2 of the worst places a body can find himself, bar none. Some cutters think the Abyss is the worst nightmare, but they'd be wrong. In the Abyss, the Tanari will just kill a Burk. On Baator, the Beatazu will play with his head a while before they kill him. Acheron ain't much better. There the plane itself can get a sod. Take a look at all the scars marring the iron cubes drifting through the plane. Watch them smash together from time to time, then imagine what happens to a body caught between collisions. On the other hand, Arcadia and Mount Celestia are pretty much fit the image of goodness. Of course, some Burks disagree with that viewpoint, pointing out how much the forces of good don't see eye to eye. Of the 2, the Mount's closer to what most people think of as pure good. Though those who felt the wrath of the Archons, see, that does say Archons, might disagree. Arcadia is known as the land of perfect good, and its denizens are even rougher on the chaotics and evils. The militiamen there don't suffer law-breaking as kindly as, say, the citizens of Ysgard might. A lot of these words are Greek based, so just assume the same as chaos. There's all kinds of words. I've discovered there's all kinds of ways to, or the best ways to get corrections on things is to just do them wrong on the internet, particularly saying words that you've never had to say out loud before. Yeah, well, that's something that I've been doing a lot lately. And also, if you don't know how to play a board game, a great way to get corrections on the rules is to play it wrong live online, or just post. It doesn't have to be live. Just post a video of yourself playing it wrong. Yeah, you'll get lots of corrections. You'll get that straightened out. Okay. To Arcadians, preserving law is as important, if not so more, than fostering goodness. Still, on Mount Celestia and Arcadia, it's easier to avoid ending up in the dead book than it is on the other 3 lawful planes. But if a Burke can't keep his bone box from rattling, he'll end up there just as fast. And so, I mean, obviously, this is supposed to be an in-universe text, but then there's Mechanist, the plane of supreme perfect order, except that sometimes it doesn't seem all that precise. The plane of clockwork and cogs has an order all right, but its pattern isn't always obvious to any mind less keen than a power's. Truth be told, even most of the powers don't have much of an idea what all the gears are for. What's more, there are strange creatures living in these gears, just odd and nasty enough to give any Burke the pause. The planes of law ain't any kinder than the Chaos 5. They might be more civilized, at least to prime eyes, but they're every bit as menacing as the abyss. Woe to the cutter who meets up. So what's a cutter? Woe to the cutter who meets up with the Beatazoo and is taken in by its polite smile. Just because the Beatazoo didn't kill him on sight doesn't mean the fiend's got the heart of the darkest. Doesn't mean that fiend hasn't got the dark of the hardest evil. A visitor to the lawful planes has to tread carefully wherever he goes. Some of the lawful good beings have an attitude problem even bigger than the Tenari. Okay. So the code of law. Let's see what that is. There's this misperception that because they're called the planes of law, every aspect of life on Acheron, Arcadia, Baator, Mechanus, and Mount Celestia is regulated by myopic laws and commandments. Some say the beings of these planes try so hard to avoid offending each other that they'll end up in great colorless mass of indistinct non-entities. Well, that just ain't so. What is true is that these 5 planes are regulated internally by those who believe the code of law as defined for their plane. Believe in the code of law as defined for their plane. Even the evil bashers who live on Baator or Acheron are dedicated to making sure that chaos doesn't run rampant through their home, that the integral order of the multiverse is maintained in a coherent fashion. Lawful folk don't make up arbitrary laws for people to follow. Neither do they kill someone just for violating a rule, unless that's a pretty important rule, of course. Lawfuls leave that to the chaotics. Furthermore, edicts on the lawful planes are generally established for the benefit of travelers to those planes. Natives intuitively know the right way to behave, and they can catch any outsider who's trying to pass himself off as a fellow citizen simply by observing the way he acts. The denizens of the planes of law live and die by an internal code which they follow above all else. This code typically reflects a predominant attitude of the plane, modified by the part of the plane that isn't law, but is instead good or evil. Thus, the code of law that rules on hellish Baator is understandably different from the one that holds sway on the heavenly Mount Celestia. Likewise, with Acheron and Arcadia, only Mechanus is the code of law most purely law. Mechanus is the code of law most purely law, and yet their law is taken to a degree almost incomprehensible to non-natives. I'm finding this one kind of difficult to read. So cutter's used as a term of respectful address, where Burke is dismissive. So a cutter is a tough, someone who can handle himself. Okay, well, see, this is important information. As I said, this is difficult to read because it's, by the way, the cant and the chant are two different things in the slang. Cant is the slang itself. Okay, like thieves' cant is a slang. The chant is the news, the local word. What's the chant? Okay, so I guess we would find that out someplace. Or maybe you find that maybe we're doing this, since we're doing this out of order and we don't have the main box, maybe we find that out in the main box. Cutter has a bit of a crossover with calling someone a basher, but a basher is usually referring to a fighter or someone who's physically powerful. A cutter could be a mastermind mage or someone smart. So, okay, yes, that's what we're missing here. The slang is all in the main Planescape book. Okay, so now we have that. Okay. Thank you. Maybe that'll help me understand what I'm trying to read through here. Okay, some say that law is logic and chaos is emotion. That lawful cutters always pause to think before doing, while chaotics just do it. That ain't necessarily so. Lawful creatures have an ingrained sense of order, and making them do something that goes against that grain is almost as hard as making a chaotic give up its freedom. Lawfuls know what's right and best, especially since their internal rules often echo the code of the plane on which they live. They aren't drones, Burke. They aren't drones, Burke. They just can't find happiness at the expense of order. All is true with the outer planes. All is true, as is true with all the outer planes. Belief plays a crucial part in defining the planes of law. Just as the independent nature and petitioners of Isgard hold the pieces of the plane together, so do the beliefs of the inhabitants of the 5 lawful planes keep their respective layers from sliding into other planes. Lawfuls will tell a cutter that order underlies everything, even chaos. They point out that everything that happens can be traced back to a primal cause, a reaction to some prior action, and so on and so on. What's more, law isn't just about strict order and being tied down to so many rules that no basher could follow them all. Law is also about identification and classification, understanding the nature of the multiverse. Law is about definition and trying to see why creatures act the way they do, while plants grow the way they do, and why even events take certain turns and twists. Law is about discovery and naming and knowledge. Law is the belief that knowing the way the multiverse is ordered can bring a body power, and that only the strong rise to the top because they know the order is below them. Success comes from learning the order above. There's good and there's evil in law, just as there's good and evil in nearly everything. Some choose to accentuate one over the other, while others chose to follow the law undiluted. The governors understand all this. Guvners. Is that another slang? The governors understand all this, and they believe in law fervently. To them, to many of the others, law is everything, and everyone who says otherwise can pike it. Okay, so we have magic on the planes of law. Since the planes of law are about classification and codification, among many, many other things, the inhabitants here have discovered a few more rituals and spells to give the planewalker, an extra edge. Spells like Spirit Rack, Cacofiend, and True Name, all detailed below, have been developed on the planes of law. Their spells especially popular on Acheron, where they are put to good use. Okay, so we have some extra spells here. How do we get to the planes of law? Let's talk about traveling there. Oh, by the way, we do have a table talk tonight with Bashir Gauss. He's an RPG designer, and he's got a book called Blazing Guns out on Kickstarter right now. So we'll be talking to him tonight. How to get there from here. The planes are infinite, right? So how does a body get from one point to another? More important, how does a planewalker get off a particular plane without going through a portal? The answer is easy. Paths. Paths wind through every known plane, aiding the traveler in his or her quest to get someplace. In some places, paths are just what the name suggests, trails worn into the plane by the passage of many feet. In other places, paths are nearly invisible, or might not even be physically present. In the infinite distances of the cosmos, without paths, a traveler could literally walk forever. Of course, everyone knows about the 4 great paths, the routes that span planes. They are the rivers Styx and Oceanus, the tree Yggdrasil, and Mount Olympus. Well, not everyone wants to use these paths to get from one place to another. Furthermore, a number of these paths don't even cross the lawful planes. As such, taking a great path is best used as an interplanar route. So how does a plane walker figure out which way to go and what to do? There are several ways. A body can hire a guide. There are, of course, guides found in each of the 5 lawful planes who are all too willing to sign on with a party, explaining local flora and fauna as well as local customs and laws. The guides are often governors or other natives who are looking to make a quick bit of jink, irritating Burks who want to make sure a party doesn't muck up the natural order. But some adventurers, particularly green primes, prefer to go it alone. This sort of haphazard guessing's not a sure way to get anywhere, especially in the lawful planes. No, the best way to travel the planes of law is to understand how travel works from there. A governor is a member of the Fraternal Order faction. Okay, and jink is money. I'm glad Sable Phoenix is here to tell us these things. Has anyone else, obviously besides Sable Phoenix, played in this? I remember a Planescape box sitting around when I was playing AD&D, but I don't remember if it was this one or not, and I don't remember if we really even got into it. I don't remember it, so maybe we didn't, and it was just around and being read. See, every lawful plane's got its own system for determining how people travel and how fast they get there. However, one aspect is the same for all of them. It takes chaotics far longer to get around on the planes of law than it does lawfuls. Unless chaotic planeswalkers are accompanied by lawful companions, they'll find their journey made longer by a factor of 2 or 3 times. They just ain't got the proper mindset to appreciate how travel works on each plane, which is outlined below. Acheron. This plane's probably the most straightforward of the 5 lawful planes, at least travel-wise. The cubes, being finite in size, all have a certain distance to them. Though the plane Though the plane they float in is infinite, the cubes themselves aren't. Of course, it's not a uniform distance from cube to cube, so a body's crossed one and wants to get to another, he'll have to find a way himself. Fortunately, such travel isn't too difficult. There are portals to the other cubes. If a body can't find them, there are also spells that will allow a Burk to traverse a cube. There's pretty much common knowledge. They're pretty much common knowledge on Acheron, though a basher might have to pay a steep price for one, depending on who's asking and doing the selling. The distance from one place to another on Acheron is simple. It's measured in days' marches. A place close by is a quarter-day march, while something on a different cube might be a 3-day march. So I see this right over here. So this is Acheron Clash and Conflict. And here are the cubes. First, you're in the army now. Second, I'm in command. Third, if you disobey, I'll flay your skin. Add it up. If you don't like the math, you just try to quit. And that's Granog Tenbones, Orc Commander. Stargate Mind says all my D&D games involve planescapes. I think of all the chase scenes in the Baldur's Gate 3 trailer. Sable Phoenix says, I'll help you tumble on the dark of things, Cutter. Don't you worry none. If I have seen the Baldur's Gate 3 trailer, it has been a long time. So let's just see. So it says Acheron, the plane of battle. Acheron's the plane of battle, pure and simple. It's a place of marching armies and solid metal cubes hurtling through the air. It's unforgiving and brutal, the last resting place of heroes without a cause and soldiers without hope. It's Archeron, and it has to be seen to be believed. Their armies drilling across the surfaces of cubes, organized groups that rumble through the wastelands. There's no love in this place, only grudging respect. A body's got to earn respect if he wants any kind of reward, but that don't come easy on the battle-hardened hearts. To the battle-hardened hearts of those who live here. The natives here are mercenary soldiers who've sold their spirits for a bag of silver. They're Burks who couldn't decide between order and evil, and they found out neither one. I kind of want that kind of overview for all of them. So here's, okay, so what are these? Okay, so that's, I don't think I've ever read that. I know the cube, a cube plane. Now I know. Arcadia. Mercy Tempered Order. And it says, would love to have a few extra bashers in our militia, provided you think like we do. Klein Brackle, Harmonium Patrol Leader. So Arcadia says, though it's the plane of law and neutrality tempered by good, Arcadia engenders almost as many feuds as Ysgard. The powers who live in Arcadia have some distinct ideas about what law, neutrality, and goodness entail, and most of them are anxious to let others know just what they think. The plane's orderly in nearly every way. Its orchards consist of trees growing in straight lines, all without having been planted that way. Its fields glimmer with grass that grows to a certain height and no higher, like a rich Burke's lawn. Its streams flow straight, taking right-angled turns where they bend, and its animals are willing to do what they can for the common good of the plain. Foxes willingly give up their silver fur. Geese line up at the chopping block. Even bees don't attack anyone reaching out for honey, if the Burke's lawful or neutral or good. Let's get it. I like having an overview of what these things are before we get into them in more detail. So, Baator, deception and depravity. Let's just say I'd rather be devoured by a Goristro than make a deal with the Beatazu. A wise planer. Place this think no I like. Rubik's. A Zoest sit ect upon entering the 9 hells. Strange names in strange fonts. So Baator, the 9 hells, the stinking pit, whatever a cutter calls it, this plane is the one place in the multiverse he doesn't want to get caught. The 9 hells are home to sheer, unmitigated evil, where the smallest infraction can commit a body's spirit to tortures literally impossible to imagine. The stinking pit is also home to the Beatazu, perhaps the most malignant race in the multiverse has ever seen. They're right quick to show a Burke why the 9 layers of Baator are among the most feared places in the known cosmos. If there's a single word of advice for Burks who want to visit Baator, don't. Baator is not a place for sightseeing or meeting interesting people. The land itself has a malicious, rudimentary intelligence. Coupled with the malevolent inhabitants, it's a no-win situation for any sod. Each of the 9 layers has its own perils and pitfalls. Anyone barmy enough to visit Baator has got to know all of them, and maybe that'll give Assad enough time to utter a prayer before he dies. That one sounds fun. So Baator is the 9 hells. So Mount Celestia, righteous wrath. So let's see. Oh, I was wondering about that as I was saying it. Yeah, because I guess you could say it. So most people say it bow to zoo. Oh yeah, I wouldn't have thought that, or bow to zoo, like a sheep bleeding. No, yeah, that one didn't come to me. Beatazu versus Beatazu is the same pronunciation argument as Baal, and I guess that would be Baal and Baal. Now, I think I tend to say Baal. And I hadn't really thought about that. Pronunciation. So if I were to say, I think I say Baal, but but I do say Beatazu. Not what Beatazu. It always sounded much better to say Beator. Okay, now I'm confused. Because I think I was saying Beator. Isn't that what one of the there's a specific one of the what do you call it? The things up above letters that tells you whether or not the second vowel is supposed to be enunciated, right? What Sable Phoenix said. So it always sounded much better to me to say Beator and Beatazu. I guess I should be consistent at least there. If it's Beatazu, then it should be Beator. I think. Baal. Maybe I should also say Baal. But I had been saying Baal. It seems like, so if there were the 2 dots over the second A, then that would definitely let you know that you're supposed to pronounce it, right? Because like if you're talking about when you're right and you've got 2 vowels right next to each other, but one of them has the 2 dots over the second vowel, that means that second vowel is enunciated and it's not making the other, not doing something with the other vowel, right? So if there were 2 dots over the second A, then it would definitely be Beator. Yeah, and Beatazu. So maybe that's how it should be. Diacritical marks, yeah. I think we need some of those. Okay, so Celestia. So if you keep acting that way, you'll never get past the first layer. Lantern Archon to travelers new to the Mount. It's a shame the Zauvery didn't let you drown. A Hound Archon to the same traveler. There's a lot about this that makes this difficult to read, including not only the font choices, but sometimes the color choices. The 7 heavens. Okay, so Mount Celestia is the 7 heavens. The 7 heavens is a plane of goodness and purity. From the bottom layer, where the silvery sea crashes melodiously against its shore, to the top layer, where radiance and benevolence dazzle all who arrive, it is said that even those of evil alignment are willingly suffered here, as long as they're looking to mend their vile ways. Mount Celestia is a place of beauty, all right, but it ain't no resting place. Those who come here work harder than almost anywhere else in the multiverse, because they've got to do it honestly, which means no shortcuts. People here have come to achieve perfection, and a body doesn't get to be perfect without work. Diligence isn't a trait that comes naturally to most. There are certain rules everyone's got to follow when they're here on Mount Celestia, and most important is that nothing here should be harmed unless it's something with evil intent or something evil intent on doing evil. A good Berker comes here slaughtering every evil thing in sight is going to get a big surprise when the higher-ups among the Archons come to investigate. Well, the heaven and hell are the ones that most interest me. Okay, so that's what's inside this book. So since it's player stuff, we can go back and see. What did we just say? Beator. So Beator. Yeah, I think we should be saying Beator. I think I will from now on. Yeah, but 2 dots is specifically an umlaut, though, from German. Yeah. But I thought it's those dots are used in a specific way in German. I thought they could be used in a different way. Yeah, those kinds of marks aren't commonly used, though, unless you're a linguist. Well, or if you're a fantasy author. Unless you're a fantasy author, maybe. Well, I suppose Tolkien was a fantasy author and a linguist, so we got those. But if people knew a few more of those, because like when you're reading Tolkien, a few of those aren't like I thought they were something real difficult, but most of the time they aren't. So they would help out. 7 heavens and 9 hells. That's always tickled your funny bone. Why is that? Let's see. Okay, so let's go back and look at hell then. How much time have we got? Oh, well, we're closing in here. Yeah, we'll start here. I do have, by the way, I've got some other things to do, so I won't be going late today. I do have the Warriors of Heaven book, and I have the the Guide to Hell. So I've got both of those as well. And I was kind of thinking, so this kind of gets into heaven and hell, but I was kind of waiting to get into those until I was working more on theophany, so that just for inspiration. But hey, I like the heaven and hell theme. So Daniel says, because there's more evil than there is good. I hadn't thought of it that way. Now, I've noticed that George R. R. Martin reverses that. I don't remember where he's talked about the heavens. Maybe he has. But he does talk about the 7 hells. Right? So he has 7 hells in one of his religions. I noticed that he reversed it. Well, let's go for just a few minutes here. So Beator is like an inverted mountain. The 9 layers, or 3 times 3. Remember the rules of 3. Oh, just because they take the sayings, the 7 heavens, and what in the 9 hells, and make them physical things. Well, doesn't that come from like Dante, right? Don't they go through that in Dante's Inferno? When he's going through all of the heavens? The 9 circles of hell. Yeah. I mean, you'd think I would remember that. So yeah, so he goes through the 9 hells in Dante's Inferno. And then, of course, then from there he goes into the 7 heavens. So the idea of there being 9 hells and 7 heavens, that's been around for a long time. Dante has 9 heavens? Okay. I knew he had 9 hells, but he also has 9 heavens. Interesting. I wonder where 7 heavens comes from then. Let's see. Okay, the 9 layers, or 3 times 3. Remember the rule of 3s? Nope, I don't. Feels wider toward the upper reaches of Beator, and they become steadily more claustrophobic as the body heads down toward Nessus, the 9th layer. The river Styx flows through 3 layers and is extremely powerful in Stygia, the 5th layer. Anyone trying to muck with the Styx is hereby warned. The 9 layers from top to bottom are Arvanus, Dis, Menaris, Phlegethus, Stygia, Malbolg. Now am I supposed to say Malbogi? Malbolg. Maladomini, Canaya, and Nessus. Descriptions of most of them are available, but the information on Nessus is mighty scarce, since the layer is the meeting place of the Dark 8 overseers of the Blood War. No sod in his right mind would ever want to visit the 9 hells. Even the most addle-covered barmy from Pandemonium has enough sense not to go near Beator. But if the planeswalking Burke has it in his head he wants to go sightseeing, the text in this chapter will hopefully dissuade him, though there is a town where a basher is likely to be safe if he's gotten into Beator legally and can prove it. It's called Darkspine, and it's located not far from the Cursed Gate by Ribcage. It's used to be located in the Outlands, till it got sucked in by Beator, the plane itself, not the powers or inhabitants. There's more about Darkspire on the next page. Contrary to popular belief, there's more than just Beatazu living in Beator. It does make a lot more sense to say both of those in similar ways. Beatazu living in Beator. There's a host of powers and their practitioners, and there's always the remnants of planar clusterings together in the ruined Darkspire. Traders occasionally traverse the plane, risking their spirits to trade with the Beatazu for untold profits. More power to them, but a sensible cutter's got to keep their deals to himself. Engaging in deal-making on Beator is a sure shortcut into the dead book. So let's see here. Daniel says, I've always been curious about the 7 levels design choice. Yeah, Dante's the one who came up with it. We got that. So 7 is a holy number in Christianity. Draco says, yeah, so maybe it came from that. Maybe. That would be an interesting thing to track down. So Brianna and I are going to go through Paradise Lost, but I also need to go back through the Dante's Inferno. There's And then, Paradiso is where he goes through heaven. So I didn't remember that there were 9 heavens in that. I wonder when that changed. It'd be fun to track down. Malbolge. 7 heavens comes from Muslim and Kabbalistic religion. It's the layer beyond the stars where God and the angels dwell. Cameron was talking about some of that coming from Muslim mythology. So 7 heavens. Yeah, that's right. Because I thought that the 7 heavens was older than that, because there are 7 names. I'm remembering that now. There are 7 names for heaven in also like the Hebrew tradition. So what you're talking about, the Kabbalistic tradition probably as well, though, because I think the 7 heavens are named. So 7 heavens must be pretty ancient. Maybe more so than the 9 hells. So yeah, but you're right. 7 heavens have been around for a long time. So that's interesting that Dante, if Dante had 9 heavens, then he changed up from the traditional 7 heavens. I think that he probably wanted everything to be balanced. Heaven and hell to be balanced. Because aren't they like on the opposites? He falls through the world or something like that, and they're on the opposite sides. Hey, Neutromancer. So Darkspire is the town here. The garden in Avernus. I don't know. I do want to learn more about that. So we do have Beator and Mount Celestia. We've got more information just on them. So this is the Game Master's Guide to those sides. Let's just see what's in here. The splendor of Mount Celestia, Mount Celestia's inhabitants, the 7 mountains of goodness and law, okay, celestial adventures. Whereas over here, this is the Acheron, the one. This was the weird cube one. The battlefields of Acheron, physical conditions, magical conditions, paths and portals, seals and wards, spell keys, power keys. Acheron's inhabitants, the powers, proxies, petitioners, rogue armies, the mercy killers, the layers of Acheron. Here is Beator. The depths of depravity, how to get in, how to get out, physical conditions, the river Styx, magical conditions, spell keys, power keys, the denizens of the pit, the powers, the proxies, the petitioners, the Beatizu, the blood war, the dark 8, and the Lord of the 9, other encounters, and then layers of the pit, where it goes over all of those. Oh, I forgot that these existed in here. Sable Phoenix says, as far as I'm aware, hell was never depicted with 9 levels before Dante. We should have opened these up before we got into the text. Oh, whoa. So this is Arcadia right here. Here, I'll go. Let me take this down. Got a big poster here of Arcadia. I thought they were in black and white, but the back is in black and white. So this is a map here of Arcadia. I don't even know what's on the back here. So this says updated Planescape cosmographical tables, a brief reference guide to the planes and the realms and towns within them. All right. What is this? So this one right here. This is Acheron. We got a D20 here with a tower, the hopping tower with a D20 on it. There's something what's the good word to describe these? Amateurish in some ways. Amateurish kind of illustrations here. And then what's on the back? The back is Hierarchies of Acheron. Goblins, hobgoblins, orcs, and Dugar. Oh, down here, Bladelings, Mercy Killers. So something about their organization. This one is stuck together. This one looks like Mechanus. All kinds of gears going everywhere. The Fortress of Disciplined Enlightenment. So this is the hierarchy of Mechanus. Well, I don't even understand that chart. Read the quarters across the top. Hierarchy, hierarch Modrons down here. Neutral Master says, if I recall, one of the levels of hell was like for accountants or bankers or something. That means they had to add it when currency was invented. There is just, Sable Phoenix says, there's just so much in Planescape. It's the broadest and most detailed of the sittings, in my opinion. It must be if there are multiple boxes for it. Zero the Blade says, if hell is based off the sins, there were 9 before it was changed to 7. The 7 deadly sins and the 7 heavenly virtues, which is not a necessarily well-defined list. Chris says, didn't Arcadia use ceramic coins called bits instead of metal coins like copper, gold, etc.? I don't know. Sable Phoenix probably does know. Stuck together again. Daniel, the lore, the planes of order, the font, the planes of order. Yes. Some of them did look rather chaotic. God, this one is stuck together too. So here is, yes. So here is Beator. So this one at least makes a bit more sense to me because it's shaped like the upside down pyramid. So we've got, okay, there's Darkspire and the garden. It says there's some kind of garden in there. And the river Styx. The Iron City of Dis. No, so Avernus, Dis, Minotaurus, going down to the very bottom where we get to Nessus. What's down here in Nessus? Leith, the river Leith. Oh, Styx is also here. The river Leith is here. And Malshim. On the back, we've got the hierarchy of Beator. The Lords of the Nine, the Dark Eight, the Beatazu. And then I guess that leaves us, well, also stuck together. That's probably why this one was cheap. Mount Celestia. So it's all along the mountain here. The fortress eternal and everlasting. The silver heaven, the golden heaven, the pearly heaven, the electrum heaven, the platinum heaven, Jovar, the glittering heaven, and then Tronius, the illuminated heaven. That will probably be fun to look at too. Okay, well, that is what is inside that box. We'll probably return to it and take a look at more of the planes later. I'm interested in heaven and hell, so we'll take a look at that. Planescape is the foundation of the D&D multiverse. You need to be 20th. You need to be level 20 in 5th edition to even consider planes hopping. Well, then the campaign's nearly over. I remember people saying that in AD&D, you need to be at least 5th level to go anywhere near the ocean. Mechanus is truly weird. The entire plane is one giant clockwork mechanism. Gears the size of continents down to watch size, all interlocking perfectly and ticking away for some unknown purpose. There's just no way that modern-day WotC is going to do Planescape justice with 3 little slipcase books and their reticence to commit to alignment for problematic reasons. Oh, is that what's happening? 3 slipcase books? I know you said that they had announced they are returning to Planescape. Well, all right. Well, that's all right. We will take a look at the real deal, the real AD&D deal. All right. Well, I have things to do, but tonight we will be live with Bashir Gauss. He has been involved in a whole bunch of different RPG design. We actually have looked. I've had him on the channel before. He was on one of the general geekdom discussions, and we've looked at some of his material before. But he is on Kickstarter right now with an independent project. So tonight, 7:30, we will be talking to Bashir Gauss and seeing what is up with him and his design. So until then, everybody be constructive, be creative, and grind on. I'll see you tonight.